My friends, hello there. Here we go again with Macron and his session of, I almost want to say, making a fool of us, right? If you look, it's completely mind-blowing what he just did. So he brought Lecornu back and told him, well, there you go, you're prime minister again. So he's someone who was just playing for time, playing in stoppage time. You know, it's like when you have that soccer match and there's a team that's leading 1-0. Near the end, they don't want to play or take risks. They start making long passes, throwing the ball anywhere. Exactly what he's doing, just wasting time. The problem is he doesn't have time, so it's not on his side. It's not like there's going to be a whistle and suddenly, well, that's it, he won. Actually, the opposite is happening. He's losing badly. Let me tell you, if you look at the French state today, well, its debt has been downgraded by Fitch. We've been downgraded to A. Moody's is also looking at French debt right now. Standard & Poor's will decide next month in November. And what Standard & Poor's is going to decide, well, it's probably going to be a total downgrade. That means another downgrade of France's rating and, of course, an increase in the debt burden. Let me add something else as well. If you look at the documents you can find on the European Union websites, which are circulating quite widely, well, France has lost all budgetary initiative. That means it has lost its budgetary sovereignty. It has committed itself. It has a commitment to Brussels not to increase its budget by more than 1% per year until 2029 or even until 2031 if necessary. So what France can do, it is allowed to, within the budget imposed by Brussels, well, it has the right to say, okay, I'll take from this ministry's budget and add to that one. That's one possibility. On the other hand, what it can't do is increase the overall budget, and this including in the case of an increase in interest on the debt. So here's the risk we're seeing today. The risk is as follows. You have a debt. It faces a heavy burden and a rating downgrade. What will happen? We're going to have the annual interest on the debt, which will go up by several tens of billions per year. What's next? France needs to find the money but can't raise its budget. So where will it come from? We have to cut into public services. We have to cut into what's called the welfare state, right? But the welfare state is what allows France to buy peace, isn't it? So at this speed, it's just a train heading straight for the wall at very high speed. If you look at the United Kingdom found itself in the same situation. The United Kingdom, for your information, is currently borrowing at almost 5%. There are people who buy cars with a consumer loan at less than 5%. Well, the British state is borrowing at that rate. That's why it's being ruined. As you can see, since they've never had public services, it was never part of the equation. Now they're raising taxes, which were lower than in France. In France, taxes are already excessively high, so we can't touch taxes. French taxes are already suffocating France. We're already at the point where people are changing their behavior. That is to say, from a certain tax percentage, which will vary depending on the sources, some say 37%, France is over 45%. So what happens? People change their behavior because it's no longer worth it. It's no longer worth working. We work less, don't invest, go abroad, and it's all legal. You can't go and tell someone who's sleeping, who has decided not to work. You can't go and tell them that they're stealing from the state because they're not working. We're not slaves yet. We're not the property of the state yet. So eventually it could happen. But for now, we still have this independence. People are changing their behavior. What will this cause? It will make the economy, well, contract, or it's like there's a lid put on it. So the United Kingdom had to raise taxes. Public services are gone. France can't raise taxes. What will it do next? There's only one option left. The only realistic option France has left is to destroy its public services. So there you go. I don't have any, how should I put it? There's no miracle solution today. There's no miracle solution. That means, I don't want to tell you, you have to press this button, do this, do that, and then suddenly a solution will appear, right? There have been decades of destruction. And today, the country is ruined, the country is deeply in debt. The country is under the rule of consulting firms, isn't it? American rating agencies, by the way, that can suddenly downgrade France's rating. and then bam, it hits, people are going to get hit with Greek-style austerity. And then we have a political class that's just looking out for its own interests. Everyone is looking at their own seat, everyone is looking at their own mandate, everyone is looking at their own little shop. And so inevitably, this is the situation the country finds itself in. Macron, he's not going to resign. Macron, he's not going to resign. I see no point in calling for Macron to resign or be removed, as I don't believe in it. Quite simply, you know, when you buy, there are a lot of products. When you buy them from a catalog, you have the satisfaction or your money back guarantee. You can go and ask for a refund. You say, well, I'm not satisfied. With presidents, it's not like that. When you vote for a president, whether you like him or not, he's going to serve his full term. Unless there's an accident or a rare exception, he'll go all the way. You can't change him just because you dislike him, which means that next time you'll have to think carefully. So the current situation is that Macron is letting things rot. So he probably managed to get agreements with both right-wing and left-wing political parties not to dissolve. Why? Because dissolving the assembly would cost many their seats. If he dissolves the National Assembly, many will lose their seats and they'll have to compete for them again in a legislative election. So it's not good business for them. Why? Because an election is expensive, and in an election you can win or you can lose. So the business can come to a sudden stop. For these people who use their seat as a kind of income, then Macron brought them back, and they sometimes talked until 2 a.m. And they probably agreed on the fact that, listen, Macron, you bring Lecornu back, okay? Don't dissolve yet. Okay, let us enjoy our seats a bit longer. And in return, we won't make things difficult for Lecornu. That's probably what was negotiated. Because there's no other reason for him to take it and start again. What changed between Lecornu resigning and Lecornu being reinstated as prime minister again, just a few days later? What happened was this negotiation with the parties. So this negotiation probably resulted in a non-aggression pact. We don't touch you, you don't touch us. We'll leave you until 2027. That's it, really. Nobody goes after anyone because we're not going to gain anything. That's the situation today. So it's clearly a big betrayal, because the current situation, I have a drone. Luckily, I'm not in Ukraine. So I was saying the current situation, there's some noise, huh? I hope you can't hear it. So the current situation today is such that, well, there you go. There's no simple solution. We have hardliners in power, and we have people who only look at what's right in front of them. And the bottom line is, well, it's going to lead to a big mess. That means that Macron, what might bring him down could be the markets. It's the punishment from the markets that's going to hit. It's the explosion of interest on the debt. Maybe the streets will bring him down too. But the people are tired. The people aren't even paying attention to what's happening anymore. You've obviously noticed the weariness. In France, people once protested for much less, but that's no longer true. In any case, my friends, thank you for listening to this video up to this point. I'm going to show you the mountain. There's a beautiful mountain in front of me called Le Morne. I'm going to show it to you. There's an incredible energy coming from it. We are here in Mauritius. For those who are joining the film along the way, what you're looking at over there in the background, I don't know if you can see it. Those are the waves breaking against the coral. So that's why the sea is so calm here, because there's a kind of natural jetty just below the surface. And here there's Le Morne, which I'm going to show you. It's a mountain, kind of like a sugar loaf, right? As they would say in other places. Look, it's absolutely magnificent.